H2O, and then there's the bread of life. So to start with, we're going to ask the children to come forward to help us to see how to walk on water. Are you ready?
We are ready.
All right, come. There, that's good enthusiasm.
Just for the concerned property folks, I did bring a towel. I had some concerned looks this morning. I thought I saw more friends out there. I'm not really all that scary. You can come up and watch if you want.
Yeah.
I promise I won't make you do anything.
It's really not that frightening a problem.
So, did you ever hear about the time that the disciples were in a boat in a storm? Did you ever hear that story? Yeah, we were just kind of talking about that story. It's listed a couple times in the Bible. But Jesus wasn't with them. They were all by themselves in the boat. And the water was going. And they were getting kind of nervous. Did you ever get nervous? Did you ever get nervous? Not at all, Emily. I could see that, actually. You might not get too nervous. Because you're such a good twirler, yeah. But we can all be like Peter. We can believe in Jesus and we can step out in faith. So I'm going to step in here and cross my fingers because I didn't see the YouTube video that all people are telling me about. I thought this was a surprise, that you can walk on water. Did you see it? It was just water, but I can wait for a sticky one. Did you see that? Did I walk on that? But it's just water. How did that happen? Do you know who walked on water in this story? Who did we hear walked on water in this story? Pastor Mark knows. Jesus walked on water in our story, didn't he? So that's the important part. We can't just walk on water all by ourselves. Who do we need? Yeah, we need Jesus, that's right. So we have to keep our eyes fixed on Jesus, or what's going to happen? We're going to sink down in the water, aren't we? We always have to think about Jesus. Do you want to pray with me? Well, I'll hold Mom's hand. You can hold Mom's hand. How about that? Dear Jesus, please help us to remember to always keep our eyes on you. With you, all things are possible. And all God's children say, Amen. Good job, everybody.
Thank you, Gina.
Sure.
I didn't believe it without seeing it, but now I've seen it. So
I was under the understanding you were going to walk on water. This was a miscommunication.
Gina misunderstood. Yeah, actually, she thought I was, but didn't she do a great job? I think she deserves a round of applause.
Promise I'll clean that up.
It does clean up. So if anybody else wants to walk on water, I think now it costs, though, I think it's like $10 a shot if you don't want to walk on water, but you're more than happy to come join us. Well, you saw what Gina did with the kids, and that's the first half of the story that you see up there. Now we're going to go back to the beginning of the gospel for the second half of our story. Can you believe in God? If you can believe in God, you can believe things like walking on water. But can you believe that God would send a Messiah that could feed 5,000? That seems like a pretty big stretch. I know a lot of church people said, oh yeah, well, we believe that. Well, do we really believe? I think we believe a lot of things. I'm going to just take a wild guess. I'm going to say most of you believe in God. If not everybody. Okay? Say we believe that. And we believe that Jesus was the Messiah and did incredible things, including making the ultimate sacrifice for the world. And the greatest miracle of all, especially to believe about abundance. Now, take a good look at that. That's all the story says that Jesus had. How can you possibly have abundance out of so little? Well, you heard from the disciples. You heard that thought that, well, even if we had all kinds of money, we couldn't possibly feed all these people. That kind of sounds like church talk to me. I mean, after all, we talk a lot about, well, yeah, we want to do things, we want to have church, we want to do all that, but, we really don't have the resources. We just have so little. So often we have this thought that we lead with scarcity instead of having faith. And it happens to all of us. It happens to pastors, parishioners, you name it, it happens to all of us in our lives. But then we're reminded of the gospel stories, like this one today. That if Jesus can do these kinds of things, cannot Jesus do miraculous things in every one of our congregations? Can Jesus not provide through you and me? Because Jesus provided through a young boy. I mean, the least likely character in our story. It doesn't matter if it was a young boy, or if it was a woman, or if it was a really old man, or whoever it was. But from one, given to another, all were fed. Because we have a God of abundance. We are abundantly gifted by God. Even those of us who may feel like we have so very little, we have much to give. And in the story, we find that it's not just fish, but we're given bread. And when we have that image of bread, we think of Jesus as the bread of life. Because with this kind of image, it naturally moves us forward in the Gospels, whether it's John or the other three, to think about communion. When we receive bread and wine, one of the two sacraments we celebrate. The body of Christ, given for you. The bread of life, given for you. Jesus walks on water to a very small crowd. It is miraculous. But to a very large crowd, Jesus does the miraculous. He provides for what they need. Notice, not what they want, not what the disciples think he should do, or what the disciples want, but Jesus provides for everyone's needs. It's like Luther's small catechism talking about daily bread. When we pray the Lord's Prayer, that God provides for what we need. Not what we want, although sometimes the two happen to work out, and that's really nice. But God provides for what we need. God provides the bread of life. God provides what you have in your life. Whether you have a job or you no longer have a job. Whether you're still in school or whether you've graduated and now you're going to go back into more school. Whether you're already in school but now this year you're going to be finished with all your schooling and have to go out into the work world. Or whether you work out at home, whether you have your own business, whatever it is, wherever you are in life, no matter what happens, these stories remind us that we have an abundant God who will provide. Whether it's the scary times when there's a storm and the waves are crashing on Lake Galilee, I know it's called the sea, but when you actually get there, you start looking out, yeah, it's probably about 4 miles long. I mean, it's probably longer than that. So yeah, I can see if they're going across one way. But you can actually look across. In Minnesota, we call that a big lake. But to be honest, if you're in Israel, there's not much for water bodies, so that's why it's called the sea. It's just kind of a big lake. But just like any big lake, it can get really scary. And when you're out on one of the boats, and that was 21 years ago now, I was out on one of the kind of on a nice day when it gets windy, it gets pretty choppy out there. So I don't fault the disciples for being afraid of what was going on, nor are you being confused with Jesus. But in the end, they see him walking on the water. When everything becomes calm and everything is okay, you'd think that the disciples would believe from here on out. But of course, they keep having their doubts. And why? Because they're just human. Because in the end, it's kind of hard to always have that kind of rock-solid faith. Even the saints of the church that I've known over the decades, even they've had their times of fears and doubts. But in the end, when we come back to God from those fears and doubts, we have the promise of an abundant God who provides everything you need. When you come to church, we do our best to give that to all of you. When you come to church, you're coming to be fed. Be fed by God's Word. Be fed through the music. To feel God's Spirit. To be fed through even the prayers when there's silence. To be fed with that still small voice of God. And to be fed by being with one another as a faith family. Now, I don't know about you, but there's probably been some times maybe you didn't really have so much as a family to feed. Maybe you had to get by with very little. But in the end, most of us have been blessed to be able to say that, yes, indeed, our family did provide for us at least some food. But in a world where many are in need of food, those of us who have more can certainly give more. Why? Because we believe that God will still provide for us, even when we share what we have with the world. Just like Jesus shared that the boy had 5,000 people. Just like Elijah talked about that group of 100. And you notice in both of those stories, there were leftovers. Well, I don't know about having the leftover fish, especially there was no refrigeration in those days. I don't know about if I'd want to eat the leftover fish, but certainly leftover bread. That would last a good long time. You can continue to have your daily bread. The church provides daily bread. The church, when we come here, as a family, whether we're all happy with one another, or if we're not so happy with one another, maybe we've had a great week, and so we come in here and we're just sharing wonderful stories, or we've not had a great week. There's been illness. There's been a death. We come together to be fed by God and be fed by one another as a family of faith. Because that's what you do as a family when you gather. Do you ever sit at a table, whether it's just your immediate family or all your relatives, and then get to a point and say, well, we really don't have quite enough, so today you will go hungry. I'm going to take my chances and say that's not how we do it. So that's certainly not how we do it at church. When we sit across the table, so to speak, that is, when we sit in our pews across from one another, we believe in a God who provides for our daily bread. We believe in a Jesus who can do the miraculous with all of us, flawed as we are. And we believe, whether we come happy or sad, angry, mad, whatever it is, that through it all, as a faith family, as God feeds us, we will feed one another. And then we will collectively use what we have to feed the world in our local community and far beyond. So today, let's do some feeding. Now, how many are in pews that already have your little commercial type of things there? You got one right here. even sitting with you this morning? Nobody was sitting with you? I'm going to get you guys here. Here. Did you share with them already? You guys need? Oh, yeah, you guys need here. Did you guys get here? And how about back here?
We shared.
Did you guys already share? All right. How about back there? Usher? Go ahead. Did you use the big go ahead? All right.
No.
And when you're done, you just leave them there. I'll pick them up later. I'll do that. I'm just going to leave your cues. So now, if you ever wondered when we do communion, and you're looking up here, maybe you come up and you go, oh, it looks like they're going to run out of bread. And then all of a sudden, oh, they had enough bread. You wonder how that happens? Well, that's by the grace of God, it's not us. Because despite our best arithmetic, there are times when I'm looking out and thinking, oh my word, how are we going to do this? And you know what? It always works out. So, what I'm going to do, I'm going to have you share with her. So when you get your bread, I want you to take a piece off. Just like we're almost saying, and just say the person, bread and wine. Okay? All right, and let me give you that one. You go over there, and then I think there's enough. Then you'll go over to this group and get them started. Travis, we'll start with you. Bread and wine. And then your group share with what's you guys? We got Gabby. And then you got to share. So when you share, just say bread and wine. All right, so bread and wine. And then I'll have you, once you're finished, share with those guys. And can you guys share with them? You got enough there? Oh, I think we're starting here. Just say bread of life. These will give it to you. There we go. Bread of life. You guys can start sharing. I think they'll share with you here. Bread of life. Bread of life. Will you share back with monthly spouse there? Go back. Let's see. I think they'll start sharing back through here. I'm going to start with you guys. Bread of life. Share that with him. I think they'll have enough. I think they'll get you. Let me start that over here. There you go. Bread of life. You guys start sharing over that way. I think they'll get through you. So will you three back here? Bread of life. You'll share that with those guys. And we'll go out here. Out here, can't see us. Bread of life. Thank you. Oh, look, we have leftovers. Wow, look at that. Oh, you guys don't watch it all. Oh, we have that much left over there. Look at that. Now, I only started with a package that we usually use for communion. I didn't even use this part. We still have this much left over. We could probably go through 3, 4, or 5 times, but I don't think we have enough time this morning. Now, I know you're probably saying, yeah, but Pastor, but that was just a little piece of bread. Well, when we take communion, it is just a little piece of bread. But with the Word which feeds us, the bread feeds us. It is enough. It provides what we need. Because today, this is just a symbolic reminder of what Jesus does in all of our lives. And does it despite of ourselves at times. And does it with us being good disciples at times. It's the bread of life. There's always enough, which means there's always enough for us to share with one another when we gather as a faith family. Despite our differences, despite our sadness, or even despite our joys, we can all come together and have enough love still left in our hearts, the love of God and Christ our Lord, to share with one another the bread of life. There is enough that we have not just to share here, not just with 100, very similar to Elisha, but to share with all the world. Because there's enough bread of life to go around. All we have to do is share it. And we have the promise that there will be plenty of leftovers. This day may you go forward and share the bread of life, Jesus Christ, with one and all.